decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradise. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto.
What's going on, Crypto Paradise fam? It is the long-awaited return of the midweek market update live stream. We've been coming to you on Spaces and a couple other mediums the last probably month or so. I think this is the first time. Maybe we did one of these last week. I don't remember. Anyways, it's been a minute since myself and the Crypto Hitman have been on here live with you guys face-to-face. Looking forward to it. It's been a wild week. The most liquidations ever, not more than FTX, more than the USD collapse with Luna. 8 something. Originally we thought it was like 2. Now people are saying it's somewhere between $6 and $8 billion in liquidations in a 24-hour period. We had about an 18-hour bear market where we went from we're so back to it's all over. People were calling for 75, 60K Bitcoin, saying that the market's topped, that sell your bags, they're quitting crypto. I think my favorite is Crypto Bitlord. In a period of about 2 hours, he quit crypto for about the 12th time this year, and then came back with a bullish statement about some new private group or God knows what. He said he quit his fight with KJ Crypto, and then I think he was back. The fight's back on. I don't know. Anyways, it was a fun 24 hours full of drama. Hopefully you took proper measures and had yourself protected, so you didn't get wrecked. You didn't get wiped off when these liquidations happened. And maybe even if you had some good timing and had a little cash sitting aside, you were able to take advantage of that dip. Possibly the last time under 90. Well, I guess we're under 100K now, but it got down to what, like 91, 90, almost something like that.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin went to like 90 or 91,000. Ethereum went to around 2,100, and then you had major altcoins all going down 20% plus. Even like top 100 assets like Floki went down like 20%. It's already rallied 30% off the low. So was definitely a good opportunity if you had any cash. Definitely a good opportunity if you happen not to be looking at the charts because panic selling down there hasn't worked out for you. And that doesn't mean we're out of the neck of the woods. But the reasoning for the dip, or what the speculation of the reasoning for the dip is over. So do you want to start the conversation with why we think the dip happened and why we think that kind of has already smoothed itself out so quickly?
Yeah, the majority of people are, or the prevailing theory behind why we got wrecked for, as Rand Neuner says here, $8 billion, 163 million in the first hour, 683 million 4 hours in, and by the end of 24 hours, almost $9 billion in liquidations there. But what most people are saying was the cause was the trade wars, the tariffs going on with Mexico and Canada that happened or were announced, I guess, put into force earlier this week. Obviously, as we've seen since then, Mexico and Canada capitulated very quickly. They didn't put up much of a fight, and so the markets rebounded very quickly. I mean, that was just a wild, wild day. I mean, we went from 98 down to 91, and then back up to almost 103,000 in the matter of 12 to 18 hours, something like that. But that's the game. This is what crypto is. It's the Wild West yet sometimes. A lot of calls of malfeasance, market manipulation, as there always is. Who knows what exactly happened there? What are your thoughts outside of just the overall economic uncertainty on the world.
Well, I mean, the drop on the news and speculation of the tariffs kind of caught me a little off guard, because I think a lot of people just don't really understand tariffs, and they think it's going to lead to bigger hostility between countries. You need to understand, especially if you don't live here in the United States, the United States is the global superpower of the world, and also has the global reserve currency of the world. So that's not, these little tiffs with neighbors shouldn't cause market-wide drops like that. Also, it's kind of really predictable. This is what Donald Trump is known to do. If he wants a deal, he's going to ask you for $1,000, even though he only wants $500, because then he knows he can negotiate to what he really wants, which is $500. And that's kind of what he applies to how he rules the country. And that's kind of what the tariff thing was. Now, if they didn't bend the knee, I'm sure he would do tariffs, because I don't think tariffs are as bad as people think. It could actually help the citizens. We can get the national debt down. We can reduce federal spending with those tariffs. And then hopefully it trickles down to lower taxes as well. But the threat of that is what he got, what he wanted, and got what people voted for. He got both Mexico and Canada to spend hundreds of millions of dollars and send thousands upon thousands of troops to shore up the border with the United States, which means that it saves us money on our end to help shore up the border as well. We can deploy half as many troops because Mexico's sending 10,000. That's what he wanted. That's what we got, and the markets bounced quickly. Now, if you happen to follow Crypto Paradise and ourselves here, you probably would have been ahead of that. Well, I quote tweeted during the dump. I said, so after this meeting tomorrow, Canada and Mexico will come to terms with Trump. Tariffs will be minimal or non-existent, and the markets will surge to new all-time high. Now, we didn't surge to new all-time high, but we did go from $91,000 to over $100,000 on Bitcoin in just a couple green candles. You know, this isn't crazy. Once they announced that, hey, Trump said, hey, I'm going to meet with Canada and Mexico tomorrow, do you really think those discussions wouldn't go any other way? I mean, every time this guy has discussions, he's not going in a room to be a dickhead and not get a deal done. He's going in that room, spending his time to try to get the deal done. Obviously, he wants America to win the deal, but a deal is better than no deal at all.
I'm trying to pull up
Right.
your tweet for the people here. Where are we at? Was the 3rd? Or the
February
2nd?
2nd at 9:22 p.m.
February 3rd. February. 1. Getting there. I don't see it. It's on your account?
Yeah, and then I posted again February 3rd at 10:52 is when I quote tweeted it. I said ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
Right there.
Here we go. Yeah,
Right there.
Yeah, Nostradamus does it again. Yeah, I mean the
So,
fact that we did.
I was just gonna say, follow along Crypto Paradise. We like to retweet a lot of our own personal content from there, but then we also kind of have the same sentiment, and we'll come and do these live shows and more formal posts on Crypto Paradise. And you know, we've been here a long time, so we try to be the calming eye and try to predict what's going to happen in the future based on past results. And usually that's going to be better for your portfolio, and you won't be one of those individuals who literally got leveraged out, $8 billion gone, poof, to zero. Now, is your underlying Bitcoin maybe worth a little less? Instead of 102K, it's worth 98 or 99K now? Sure. But all you had to do is disappear for 36 hours, and your portfolio really relatively looks untouched for these large cap assets.
Yeah, this one more good reminder of just basic fundamental practices, having stop losses in place. If you're going to use leverage, make sure you got that kind of stuff set up. And if you're a trader that has an open trade going, make sure you got your stop losses set up. You step away from the computer for an hour, you're away from your phone or wherever you have ability to trade, or you're in bed sleeping. We all got to sleep at some time. You never know when these kind of things can happen. And they can happen extremely volatilely and violently. And while I think, we've talked about how the overall markets are going to get less volatile as more institutions come into this, right? But I think the opposite can easily happen with these kind of wicks. We might not see an 80% dump during the bear market like we have previous years, but because of the amount of money that's coming in, more people are putting more money into these riskier type of trades with leverage and more leverage and more leverage. And so there's more and more money out there that can be wiped out. And just the reality of it is, it's not just crypto. This is just a reality of the markets. They do this in the traditional markets also. It's just as dirty, if not worse. When institutions that have the power behind these markets see $8 billion in longs out there, and they have an excuse to go after the market like, the tariffs, they're going to do it. So, if they see the opportunity to make that kind of money, because like our great sponsor Bybit and all these other market makers, people that are doing perpetuals, people that are behind the scenes that make money off of futures, they've said time and time again, the most profitable products that they have are these products where people are using leverage. That's where they make their most money. They are the highest margins. So, I mean, don't we can't control the powers behind these markets, but don't give them an excuse, right? Make sure you're using sound fundamentals when you're trading, whether you're using leverage or not, so you don't get caught up with any of this kind of stuff. And always make sure you got a little bit of dry powder on the side, just for instances like this. I was fortunate. I actually was waiting for something like this to happen, and happened to just wake up at the perfect time on Monday morning, and absolutely nailed the Pico bottom on a couple of buys on some high conviction plays that I had, some high conviction AI tokens that, fortunately I had, kept a little bit of dry powder on the side for just such an occasion. So always a good reminder.
What AI tokens do you like? We picked up RLC as kind of like an AI DPIN type of project. We picked that up. We've been waiting. We sold that above like $4, and we've just been waiting patiently. And it went down to like $1.14, and we picked it up down there. But what other AI projects do you like, or did you pick up? And that'd probably be a good starting point, as they're still on sale for the Crypto Paradise community.
Yeah, there's a ton of great projects out there. The one that I've been kind of following, because there's only so many you can follow. It's better to, for a guy like me that's not an active, day trader type of guy. I'm more of a DCA buy. Find opportunities like this where you can buy and hold for the long term. For guys like me that with my type of trading style, it's better, in my opinion, to find one or two projects and really, high conviction plays, do all your research, stay very up to date with what's going on there, and buy in, have a bigger allocation into, one or two projects, rather than kind of scattering across the wind and trying to pick which which project's going to pop off this week. You can make a quick scalp and go to the next one. That's not my way to do it. So the project that I've been following for a while here is Palm AI. And again, not financial advice in any way. This is just one of many good AI projects out there. Always do your own research. But this is one I've been following for a while, one that I like. It is one of those tokens that is completely fully circulating, did a fair launch. So 100% circulating supply. The disparity between the 77 million and the 100 million you see here, has been burned. They do some really cool stuff. They've got they do a great job of rewarding their holders. Every single month, they distribute a portion of the profits from the business, which is another huge factor. These guys are an actual profitable business, bringing in, I believe, well over $1 million a month now, something along those lines. Anyways, they've distributed millions of dollars in rewards already to their token holders just from the project's revenue. Got some great KOLs behind them. Kyle Chassis is one of the biggest names in the game. He's a big Palm holder, a big Palm fan. He's tweeted about them many times. And one of the reasons I really like them for myself, I'm looking for a little more of the riskier side of the trades. These guys at a little lower market cap. There's a lot of really great AI projects out there that have higher market caps. They're already in the multiple hundreds of millions. That could very easily go to billions, and still, we're gonna make a couple X's. For me, I'm still trying to build up my nest egg for next run a little more. So I like a little bit more high risk plays like this. This is one that's been under 100 million. Actually, it's been over 100 million recently, but I've been buying it from when it was in the 60 million market cap range. It dipped down into I believe it was the 30s with this flash crash that we had. But there's a lot of cool stuff. Go do some research on them. See what you think about them. Nice. One of the other things for myself that I've noticed about this is Palm has followed Bitcoin. Any big pump or any big dump for Bitcoin. It's followed pretty well, so it's been easy to trade. When you see Bitcoin go down, you're going to have a buying opportunity. When you see Bitcoin start to pump, Palm is very quick to follow and pump right behind Bitcoin. So as long as that holds up and follows the market, or continues to follow that trend, makes it easy for a guy like me who's not a TA guy to get good buys and sells on tokens like this when you can just follow the biggest.
Right, and that's something good to touch in on too. Some of you need higher risk, high reward, really trying to get financial freedom, and of course I do that too. We play in a lot of micro caps. So it is good to realize you're trying to find that next big thing. And sometimes people try to find that next big thing rather than get involved with something that's more of a sure thing. So understand that there is risk rewards to that. For example, the lowest risk AI project is probably Render. It's worth, $1 billion now after this dip. RNDR, big influencers talk about it. They have big backing. They use their technology to display a big event on the Dome in Las Vegas, or whatever they call that thing, the Sphere. So that's like the lowest risk AI, and then you can start going down the tier. Then you go to an RLC, which is probably in that 100, 200 million market cap range, maybe around there. And then you come down to the Palm AI, which is still 30 million. So it could 3x just to reach RLC, much rather trying to get to Tau or Render or any of these other multi-billion-dollar ones, because realistically, crypto really doesn't have an upside. We don't know what happens this cycle. I think Bitcoin 244,000 or higher, which means that these probably can, a Vintage is already at 3 billion. Maybe that can do a 10x. But realistically, if things for alts, because there are so many more alts, there's so many more shiny new objects, liquidity gets spread thin. Maybe BitTensor goes to a 10 billion market cap and you get a little over a 3x on your investment. That's massive in a year compared to stocks. But if you're only playing with $500 and it turns to $1,600, that might not be life-changing enough for you in what your investment thesis is in crypto. So it's good to understand the big boys. You're probably still early on the big boys because we haven't had an alt season. Those will probably still do 10x's, 5x's, 4x's, whatever. But along with those, if you're working with a smaller amount of money and you're trying to really have life-changing gains, you're going to need to peel off 5%, 10%, 1% at a time of your portfolio and gamble on a little bit smaller caps in that same sector that you think is going to do really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no problem. And with any portfolio, it should be divided up by, the big guys, Bitcoin, Ethereum. A lot of people say, put X amount in Bitcoin, X amount in Ethereum, which I hope you're not still betting on Ethereum. There's a lot better choices out there. But again, not financial advice.
That's the low, guys. Nate just marked the low. We'll be snipping this and I'll be sharing it on Twitter when tomorrow Ethereum goes to 5,000 or something.
You could literally throw a dart at 1,000 projects and pick something that's outperformed Ethereum this cycle. But anyways. But yeah, whether you're spreading it out by sector, trying to, get some in a lot of these hot sectors, that's AI, DeFi, traditional DeFi, infrastructure projects, oracles, gaming, there's a lot of different, sectors you can invest in, and picking some top projects in there and spreading it out. Or even if you're just focused in on a specific sector, like AI, for example, if you're not an active trader and TA person, it's better to really do some research, pick a couple high conviction plays, and spread your money out that way. Maybe, if you're just focusing on AI, put a bag of your safe money in a Tau or a Render, then have some of your, your mid cap, the ones that are in the mid 100 millions, AI projects, and then some like the Palms that are good quality projects, but much more risky down, in the 50, 60, $30 million range. And that's one way you can kind of, balance out that portfolio of risk within a sector, and then, pick a couple across some different sectors. But there's so many projects out there, you're not going to ever catch them all. So
yeah. And I'm a big proponent, in traditional markets. When I was a traditional market guy, I worked in institutional finance, guys, for a while out of college. I was always the weirdo there. I was like, diversification is kind of a scam, guys. Because that's the biggest thing. Diversification, we go 60-40. This is what we do, 5% to precious metals. And it's like, yeah, cool. That makes you the lowest risk over a time horizon. But people don't get rich or wealthy over diversification. People get rich and wealthy over conviction in traditional markets. The people who put 40% of their portfolio in Amazon or put 80% of their portfolio in tech stocks before they blew up, those are the people who got rich. When you're already rich, that's time to diversify in traditional markets. Now, why I don't really say diversification is a scam in crypto markets is because crypto is very narrative driven. So if you're finding projects that span different sectors and different narratives, and you dabble in those, and that's how you diversify your portfolio, at any given time, that narrative might get hot. That portion of your portfolio is going to outperform, allow you to scoop some profits off of it and look for other opportunities or build back up your hodl bag of Bitcoin. And that's why I do think that diversification does work in crypto, because we are so narrative driven. For 1 month, it's AI agents. If you had some of that in your portfolio, you're actively playing in that sandbox, you're already ahead of the curve. Many people are chasing these narratives rather than already having a base level of fundamental understanding or a base level of holdings. And that's why I think it works really well in crypto under current. Even this cycle, everything is very narrative driven and very liquidity bonded. So say Solana and meme coins got hot. If you already had some exposure there, you're not downloading Phantom for the first time, trying to sell something for Solana and trying to figure out Radium. You already have a base level of understanding. You're ahead of the curve, and that's how you can really make those gains. So that's why I think diversification in crypto is a little different than traditional markets, is because there is a learning curve for each one of these narratives that you can be in front of. Versus traditional markets, there's no learning curve. You're on Charles Schwab, you type in a ticker, you hit buy, that's it. Nothing else is transparent. There's no DeFi there. There's no new wallets. And that's why I think what Nate just said makes a lot of sense. pick. We always talk about, hey, what's our favorite narrative right now? What are our narratives for this cycle? And that's because we are putting money in each of those narratives. And when they pop off, we're ahead of the curve. We're there. We're making gains, and we're deciding if we want to sell out of that narrative for profits, trying to look for the next narrative to pop up.
Yeah, 100%. You know, if you got in down here on render, or you got in down here on render, you don't care if it dipped from, you know, $14 to $10 or $8, right? You bought in at $2. You're still laughing, right? As long as you have the conviction in that play, you're going to be good in the long term. Versus, you know, if you're trying to chase these pumps, if you're trying to chase these narratives and get behind, finding those good buys is much more difficult. You a lot of times end up buying that top instead of getting in a good buy. So always got to try and get out ahead of these narratives. And how do you do that? Well, by staying tuned into Crypto Paradise. We've had some amazing calls here in this cycle. Well, I think probably some of our biggest calls are some of the memes, but we've had, I think, multiple 40 and even 50x calls already on this channel, and just, you know, trying to keep you guys ahead of the curve. That's what this is all about. Quick shout out, you see the Bybit logo up there. If you have the inclination to go and start your trading journey and you do not have a trading account with Bybit yet, you can get up to $30,000 in a bonus by using the link, which is in the bio on the Crypto Paradise main page here, right here, partnerbybit.com, available for any of you guys. Again, up to $30,000, and they always have some other fun side competitions going on there as well. So if you're not a huge trader, sometimes you can take some advantage of like a first-time trader or some of these smaller competitions they've got going on. You might get 20, 50, $100, but hey, that's a free 20, 50, or $100 that you can start playing with, flipping. And it's crypto, so we all know what you can do with even a small amount of money in this industry. Cycling back here real quick to the tariffs. So a lot of people say the impetus for this drop was the tariffs and kind of how that spooked the market there. We just lost my screen. I don't know why, but there we go. But that was just the Mexico and Canada tariffs. Now, we also have had talks. Trump has already tweeted about tariffs with China and tariffs with Europe as a whole, two much, much bigger markets than Mexico and China. You know, I think we do trade quite a bit with Mexico and China, or Mexico and Canada, but compared to our trade with China or Europe as a whole, much smaller percentage we're talking, much more potential for economic impact. Are the tariff wars over? Are the big drops from Bitcoin because of speculation around, you know, macro world economics over, or are we still in for some rough sailing seas here with potential meetings with China and Europe as a whole?
Well, I think for Europe, that they would be more likely to bend the knee, or more individual countries would be more likely to work deals. Now, China, I don't know. Obviously, they want our economy, they want our spending, but again, they're more of a adversary to the United States, at least on the global market scale and technology and everything that's going on. We saw what they did with DeepSeek with AI, for example. So I think China is one that would make sense to tariff goods. Now, Nick, isn't that going to hurt markets in the short term? Yes, I think it would. It would. But what do tariffs do then? We have so many big trade deals with them. The country, the United States, can get a lot of money from the tariffs, and hopefully that passes on to citizens and with tax reductions or inflation reduction and everything else. But B, that can bring some of the industries that the United States are capable of doing. He's not going to do a blanket tariff, guys. He's going to target individual sectors that made in America can happen. And what that happens is it incentivizes entrepreneurs and innovators to either move their business to the United States or create the business for that sector here. And now we're keeping a lot of that money in-house. And that is a big possibility. He's talked about that many times, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. And since they are our biggest adversary, it makes a lot of sense. You get new jobs, you get more economy, and then the tariff on their goods doesn't matter because we can make it here in America at a cheaper or better price than what the new tariff price is. I think that's kind of where we're heading. I think that probably happens. Now, does that have some short-term pain, short-term headlines and implications? Sure, but by 2026, I think that we're going to start to see all the moves that are being made with the tariffs and the chess pieces and Elon Musk cutting is when everything really pays off. Remember, even on the spending cuts and these tariffs and everything like that, they're giving a lot of people 8-month severance packages, and it takes some time for everything to get implemented. So if they do a tariff on China right now, it might take 6 months to a year for the new Made in America business to create it here. And I think that's when you start to see the benefits of what you sowed in those fields. And that would be about a year and a half from now. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of tariffs with China. I don't think it'll be some blanket tariffs, and maybe that is some kind of black swan event or a day down. But I think once the details get out and we get past the headlines, that it's going to all, brush over and be for the better of the United States of America, the global currency of the USD, and hopefully with us being a crypto leader, Bitcoin as well.
Yeah, people need to suck it up. I mean, that's one of the problems with our 15-minute news cycle lifestyle in the West now, is that people never look at the big picture. Could tariffs make things in the short term potentially a bit more difficult for people? Yeah, prices could be a little bit higher on certain goods. But overall, like you said, what is it going to do? It's going to bring more jobs back to America. It's going to increase the quality of living in America. It's going to bring back manufacturing to the United States. It has the potential for us to eliminate income tax or other taxes in the United States. Again, putting more money back into our pocket. The reality is America's been getting bent over the barrel by pretty much every other country in the world on trade deals and manufacturing deals for decades now. And on top of that, all the aid that we send over there. So the potential for us to bring money back that is either being sent overseas or that we're wasting in these trade deals, or we're losing in the worst side of these trade deals. That's what these tariffs are for. Yes, in the short term, could it potentially, cause some negative headlines and some economic, FUD, and maybe a little bit higher prices at the grocery store. Sure. But in the long term, the benefits are going to far outweigh the short-term consequences, and people just need to, get past this short-term, Netflix, Uber Eats mentality that we've developed in the United States, where life has just gotten too cushy for everybody, and understand that to make big changes, to get to prosperity, whether it's through a government or if you're going to be an independent entrepreneur and go out there, or if you're going to be a crypto trader, it's going to be hard. There's going to be shit you have to go through to get to the good stuff, right? The same goes for things like this. These tariffs, one, they're a negotiating tool. Two, like you said, it's going to bring jobs. It's going to bring money back to the American citizens. It's going to help us cut taxes on the American citizens. And on top of that, something else that I think was a really interesting point. I can't remember who said it. If it was might have been Professor St. Ange. Anyways, one of the economists I follow on crypto Twitter is something that a lot of people are overlooking with these tariffs. Trump, through his administration, because of the fact that we have Congress now, we have essentially the Supreme Court on the more constitutionalist conservative side now, he can change most things economically, tax policy, spending policy, et cetera, through his leadership and his administration. One of the areas that he cannot directly change, at least currently, that has been a big sticking point and has already got a lot of pushback is the Fed. And Jay Powell's already been, headbutting with President Trump on rate cuts. So one of the things that one of the speculations I saw was that by putting all these tariffs out there and causing the pressure on the dollar is one way that he could potentially push Powell into start cutting rates more quickly and at a higher level here early in 2025. So again, could be some more 4D chess on Trump's part, where he's not just looking to get better deals with all these different countries, whether that's trade-wise, whether it's protecting the borders, fentanyl, illegal immigration, whatever it happens to be. This could be another play on top of all that to get to the Fed and get Jay Powell to start playing ball and start cutting rates faster, which we all know what happens when the rates start getting cut. Money printer turns on shortly thereafter that. All risk on assets absolutely fly, and Bitcoin goes to the moon. That's where we see those $240,000+ Bitcoins happening.
Yeah, exactly. And people that are tuning in, it's like, why are we talking about the United States or Donald Trump or United States citizens or whatever? Because right now, this is the biggest impact on crypto markets. If Kamala Harris would have won, like if you're not from here, if Kamala Harris would have won, Bitcoin is probably $50,000 right now. That's me being not hyperbole. That's probably reality. The SEC is still anti-crypto. The presidential administration is still anti-crypto. Gary Gensler is still in power. That's the reality of the situation. It might even be worse than that, because a lot of that pricing that we saw after the Bitcoin ETF and the support level there at 50K when Germany was selling all their bags was people speculating that Trump could win in just 5 months from then or 4 months from then when that happened. That happened in August. The election was in November. So where would it be? That's why it matters. Also, why it matters is who really directs the global economy in the global markets. And the biggest percentage, that is the U.S.-based investment market. So if things are happening that are better for the U.S., the U.S. economy and the U.S. citizen. That means us, we are pumping money into the markets. Markets go higher. And then all of you guys can jump on board and invest in what we're investing in and do well along with that. So you have to realize that we're talking about this because right now this is what impacts your bags the most. Now, if it starts being China or Russian news or European news, that's what we're going to talk about as well. But we are focusing on this because right now this is what is most important for what you guys care about, which is number go up. And Bitcoin number went up because what's going on with USA politics and global macroeconomics surrounding around Trump, Elon Musk, in the United States. So that's why we're talking about it.
Well,
just want to let you guys know we're a crypto show and an investment show, but right now this is what's affecting your bags more than ever.
Well, and speaking of things we would not have without Trump, this right here would not have been happening without Donald Trump getting elected.
So one of the things that the president instructed us to do was to evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve, and so that is one of the things. That's one of the first things we're going to look at as part of the internal working group in the administration.
That right there is the crypto czar, Trump's appointed crypto czar, Mr. David Sachs. If you're not familiar with David Sachs, he's a very famous investor, entrepreneur, as a VC founder. And very, very outspoken pro crypto proponent. So this was from, I believe, just yesterday or the day before. Yep. They had the first kind of guest speech by the new pro crypto czar, David Sachs, coming out talking about what are some of the things that they're going to do. One of the first things he mentioned, of course, the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. I mean, what more could you want? As soon as Uncle Sam opens up that checkbook, it's game on.
And what's interesting is the market actually sold off like 2,000 or 3,000 after the meeting because the meeting was pretty vague. They're kind of pushing it down. But if you do parse out individual 15-second and 30-second segments, they're saying all the right things. They're still talking about a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. They're still talking about digital asset investments, which means that they understand the crypto market, the altcoin market, and what that means for the Web3 economy, which is good for those you altcoin believers, Ethereum, Solana. They didn't mention names, so who knows? But it was vague, and they keep saying within the next couple months. And I think that's why there is a huge opportunity that this might be the first time we break out of the 4-year cycle. We might have a longer bull run because it takes time for the governments to really get the things on the books, get the strategic reserve across the line, start buying the Bitcoin, get the nation states around the globe to FOMO and chase and follow the United States. Remember, a lot of these countries will follow the United States. There's very few that are leading in this category ahead of us. Obviously, you have El Salvador, who's been buying 1 Bitcoin a day every single day, but they still only have 6,000 Bitcoin. The United States has over 200,000 Bitcoin. So in a sense, they are early. They're beating us, that they're earlier than us, but they'll still be following us and probably be FOMOing even more when the United States fully embraces a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and digital asset investment and regulatory frameworks. And I guess I'll let you finish your thought, but to tie to that, they're talking about the SEC and what's going to change with the SEC. So maybe that can be the kind of the next topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing he's mentioning just right here in that same speech, memes, NFTs are collectibles, not securities, right? These are the kind of things that we expected to start seeing under the Trump administration, under this new administration. This is the stuff that's going to start filtering into the SEC. We got a new SEC head coming in. We got pretty much everybody in Trump's cabinet and people surrounding him are all extremely pro crypto. We've talked about it in the past. RFK, super bull on crypto. Tulsi Gabbard is positive on crypto. Vivek, JD Vance, even his new FBI director, Kesh Patel, pretty much everybody he's surrounded himself, everybody he's ran with from both sides of the aisle are extremely pro-crypto. We've got some great people in Senate and Congress that are pro-crypto. So, seeing stuff like this, that the crypto czar comes out and says, memes, NFTs, not securities, right? Trump, we would hope they're not securities because he and Melania that kind of set the stage for people and celebrities that want to come out and launch their own crypto tokens. So be aware of that happening. Probably going to see a lot of major celebrities starting to launch meme coins this year.
I would fade those.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might get lucky with those, but more times than not, you're going to lose. I don't chase those celebrity meme coins, and maybe there's a couple I've missed. Like Trump, when he first tweeted that, I saw it at 70 cents, and I made a post about it, but I faded it because I thought this has to be a hack. So, yeah, that could have been a quick 100x. But other than that, Hawk Tua, you would have lost. All these rappers, you would have lost. I would keep fading that. It's not worth chasing.
But the precedent of him, of Trump launching a coin, of David Sachs coming out and saying they're not securities, it's just opening the door for more and more pro-crypto things. DeFi, privacy apps coming back, the Tornado Cash getting overruled. Hopefully the civil trials for the founders of Tornado Cash, hopefully that's going to get thrown out, and those guys are going to be freed. People like, why can't I think of his name? He's been in the news a lot lately. He got arrested in Spain, or picked up in Spain a few months back. Originally, he was a U.S. citizen.
Roger Ver.
Roger Ver. You know, all these guys, these high-profile guys, high-profile cases that we've seen, where it's really just, you know, it's witch hunts, political witch hunts. It's the establishment going after these, you know, the current cryptocurrencies that are disrupting the status quo. So hopefully that's coming to an end. Hopefully we're going to get some clarity and can bring crypto back to the U.S. because it's more or less been illegal for the last 8 years. So as Trump said, you know, more things on his list getting checked off. Make America the Bitcoin mining capital of the world. Make you know, crypto made in America. Make Bitcoin made in America. We've seen what's happened with the tech industry in the U.S. before, where we have this wealth of talent and resources. San Francisco, I think the numbers came out like a week ago. The U.S. VC money that goes into tech is far outweighs any other region, whether that's, you know, Hong Kong, Singapore, you know, the Asian tech hubs, the Middle East tech hubs, whatever that happens to be. San Francisco alone is cumulatively bigger than most of those combined. So we have the talent, we have the money. If we can get the government to get out of the way, which hopefully this administration, it looks like, and we're seeing step after step start to happen, we can start seeing that innovation come back to the U.S. And again, that's not to say that the point of this is not just talk about U.S. It's that the biggest opportunity for these companies to grow and explode and see these, you know, huge adoption rates and these huge market caps is when they're coming out of the U.S. Us, you know, the U.S. being the economic powerhouse of the world, you know, that's where's Google based? Where's Amazon based? Where's Facebook based? Like, there's a reason for that, right? If we can do that with all these AI and crypto companies, we're going to see the same kind of results. So hopefully that's coming down the pipeline. And these are all really, really good signs that we're seeing here.
Yeah, so two things. The next big celebrity meme coin that I think could come out, and one that I just said fade them all. This one I might not fade, or I might buy the first dip on, would be from David Portnoy and Barstools. He's been on the fringes of crypto markets. He's messed up his bag. He's fumbled his bag. But in one of his day trading videos, he said, I've been learning and looking at meme coins, He's one that if he does pull the trigger, he knows all the big wigs in the space, and maybe he has something that's successful. Also, with his content, he loves to brag. He loves the clout. So I'm sure he will do as much as he can to make sure that's a success. He won't be selling his tokens. He'll probably be trying to buy the tokens. So as long as the deployment devs are honest people that he finds, and he knows the Winklevoss twins and all this, that is maybe one meme coin that he might not want to fade. Now, whether it's David Portnoy coin or Barstool Sports coin, I don't know what it'll be yet, but I bet you that would be the next major meme coin, and maybe the first celebrity meme coin that I might tell you not to fade, along with Trump, of course. So
yeah, I mean,
that's the prediction there.
What I could tell you about a Portnoy coin is, number one, the man doesn't need the money. He's worth like a couple $100 million already as it is. Number two, he's a brilliant businessman. He knows he stands to make so much more money not rugging the token, not fucking people over, than he does by making a quick buck, you know,
because of the content, because he has the platform to push out the content, and that content on all those platforms is going to be monetizable, and he can go make that content each and every day. Also, if it keeps going in the green, you're going to have every crypto guy who doesn't even know about David Portnoy or the sports side of things, which a lot of people don't cross over, going to be talking about David Portnoy's coin, which means he broadens his audience, which means it all funnels back more to his Barstool business.
He's the king. He is the king of content. He is the king of attention. He understands the value of that and how all his brands feed each other. This would just be one more, you know, arrow in the quiver for him. One more tool in the tool chest for him to go out and grab more eyes, grab more market share in the attention game. So, dude's a super smart man. I agree with you. If he does launch a coin, that would be one that might be worth speculating on, at least, you know, particularly in those first couple of days, you might get that first huge pump. Be careful after that. It's probably gonna do exactly what the Trump, you know, the coin did. Trump coin's still sitting at what, like, you know, a couple $1 billion market cap, which is nothing to shake a stick
that's
at.
the thing. People are like, oh my God, Trump coin's back to $19. It's like, yeah, it just went from 0 to 10 billion valuation. I think that's a pretty big success.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it might have peaked. I don't remember whatever it peaked.
40 or 50 billion.
50 billion. Yeah, so it's not gonna stay there. Understand that. You know, don't be the sucker that buys the top, but long term, it probably could be a cool play. And who knows what he'll build in? I'm sure it'll be built into his other brands. Maybe it'll get you subscriptions, bonuses in whatever his different podcasts, Barstool. They've got all sorts of stuff you could tie that into. So really, really cool stuff there. If he does launch that, that would be one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I guess the next part of your conversation was pivoting to what's moving forward for regulation. And there is news that SEC, number one, there was supposed to be a Sunshine Act meeting that happened last week. And nobody heard from the SEC. So like, I guess nothing came of that meeting. That meeting is supposed to specifically look at crypto-related cases they have going on and sunsetting those cases, meaning they need to either dismiss them or settle them immediately. Nobody heard anything, so like, I guess nothing's happening. Well, it just leaked yesterday that there was a documentation that said that Sunshine Act meeting is now tomorrow, February 6th. So what kind of news do we hear out of the SEC? Do we hear it immediately on the 6th? Do they wait till Friday? Do they wait till next Monday? I don't know, but I think we're getting really close to a lot of SEC dismissals or settlements. Primarily the ones that are still going on is with Coinbase, which obviously is one of the leading exchanges in the market, which would be very bullish for the market as a whole and also for Coinbase stock. Another one is with Ripple and XRP. They've been kind of going in and out. They've won some cases and some other cases are ongoing. And then the third one that's really big is with Pulse Chain and Richard Schuler, or Richard Hart, as you might know him, which affects Pulse Chain and all those assets, which would be PLS, PLSX, INC, and HEX. So, look, I think all of them are in a great position to win. I think the SEC with crypto specifically has been a cash grab over the years. I've said that for years now. And the fact that they're even having these meetings, coupled with what the crypto czar said yesterday about wanting new regulatory framework, redistributing SEC employees to different targets, avoiding crypto altogether, trying to really let innovation thrive, leads me to believe that we're going to see some dismissals and settlements in the crypto market very soon. And that could be the catalyst for the next big run, because you got Coinbase, which affects altcoins. You got Pulse Chain, which affects altcoins. You got XRP, which is an altcoin. If all three of them win, settle, dismissal, whatever, that's going to be really good for risk on assets and the altcoins in the market. And then that followed with FTX is starting their payouts this quarter as well in cash for small individuals, accounts of 50,000 or less. Those are retail people, folks. They like altcoins. So at the same time, these dismissals and new regulatory guidelines by SEC get loosened, we're going to have fresh capital coming back to the market in the hands of retail individuals who need to hit that 100x to change their life.
Yeah, man, I just don't see any outcome but a bullish one. Maybe not this month. This month we might range still. We might range into March. All of these things that we're talking about, we don't know what the date for them, for those to be settled are. Whether it's major court cases with XRP, Pulse Chain, Coinbase, etc. Whether it's the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, whether it's the newly announced sovereign wealth fund, which I don't know why the U.S. doesn't have a sovereign wealth fund already. But if we get a sovereign wealth fund, you better believe that a lot of that money is going to be AI and Bitcoin, it's potentially Ethereum, other crypto. So I can't see that not being bullish for the Web3 and crypto environments. More investments being announced into AI and into crypto funds, legal framework, SEC rulings. Like, there's so many things in the pipeline right now that are going to take time to pass with this administration. They got a lot more on their plates. I know all we want to hear about is crypto because that's our game. But there's more than crypto in this world that the new administration needs to regulate on. But these things are going to come about, and they're not going to come about 4 years from now. They're going to come about very likely within the next year. So I can't see anything but a bullish scenario. Whether that is we continue sideways and ranging for a ways yet here, and then later in the spring, maybe early summer, we start pumping again, or maybe we go all the way till fall. Who knows? But the longer we go sideways, the longer we range, the more explosive the breakout is going to be, and the longer it's going to last for. So I'm fine being patient. We've been patient for the entire last 4 years here through the bear market. What's waiting another 6 months to a year? So that's part of the keys. One of the keys of this game is being patient.
Yep. Well, is there any other topics that we want to cover? I know we covered a lot. We talked about Trump and tariffs. We talked about different sectors, SEC, what we think is going to happen, bullish things into the future. Are we really missing anything?
I think we're probably getting close to wrapping things up here. Maybe a few quick shout outs here to some of our partners. I want to give a big shout out to EVM Drop. This is one of the partners that we're working with for their launch, helping do some promo for them, not just because we have this partnership, but because genuinely love what they're doing. We've got some news we're not quite ready to break yet, but I'll give you a little hint, a little wink. We might be using their tech ourselves even here, but these guys are a new type of launchpad. They're a fair launchpad that let everything from memes to infrastructure projects launch in a different style where they don't need to dump on their community. They don't need to rug their hodlers. They have a very unique and cutting edge proprietary tech that allows them to generate revenue in ways that other products are not currently able to do. Won't give away too much. We've got some great interviews coming up with them, and I don't know, I'll let them explain, do a lot better job than I will. But essentially, project founders are able to earn money from the trading fees from the actual usage of their token instead of having to go out and do this, high FTV, low float model that ends up, just getting VCs dumping on you, or the meme model where they launch and then rug everybody to try and make money. It doesn't have to be that way. Anyways, they've got a lot of cool stuff coming. We'll be having them on here for some interviews, some live spaces. I'll be doing a lot more marketing to let you guys know about them. Just want to give EVM Drops a quick shout out here. Another project partner of ours, Tordes. All right, and I don't know, did you have anything you wanted to mention on EVM Drop, Nick?
Nothing to mention. I'll leave it at that. We'll leave the speculation on the line.
Yeah, so I guess the best way, fair launch pad with secondary fundraising tech allowing projects to lower raises or initial FTVs, activate communities, and earn EVM drops. So really cool tech coming out there. They've got some awesome airdrops coming up. More about that very soon. Keep your eye on the Crypto Paradise app as well for some cool updates and some possibilities to win some crypto with EVM drop coming out very soon. Another one right now that you already can win. Excuse me. Get in on their airdrop, $25,000 airdrop going on. I think it's got about a couple more weeks left here before that is finalized. Live right now in the Crypto Paradise mini app is Tordes. They are the first, or the biggest number one prop trading firm in crypto right now. Prop trading, if you're not familiar with it, essentially allows traders to utilize investment funds to trade with. So for example, I'm an investor. I've got a bunch of extra cash, but I'm not a trader. I want to put that cash to use. I can go to a guy like Nick, who is a trader, give him a bankroll. He goes and he trades with my funds. He keeps the majority of the profit, and then I can make a little profit on top of that with the funds that he's trading. Prop firms are essentially the middleman that gets the investment funds from investors and has a place for the traders to come trade and matches the two together. So Tordes is bringing that. It's a very well-established $7 billion a year in the Forex and traditional market. They are the leading prop trading firm in the crypto markets. V2 of their platforms already arrived. So these guys already have a business up and running, already have users on there. You can trade with up to $100,000 funded account. It's $100,000 of someone else's money that you get to trade with, and you keep 90% of the profits. Pretty insane. Definitely check them out. We've done some great interviews with them. We have them on every Tuesday for a live stream. They've got free monthly challenges. You can go sign up for a free account and win a challenge to get a funded account. They've got 5, 10, I believe 20, 50, and $100,000 funding accounts. There's different challenges you need to go through to qualify to show that you're an adequate trader to be able to get handed over those funds. So it's not like you just sign up and they give you $100,000 to go play with. But anyways, definitely check out Tortoise. Want to give them a shout out. And if you want to get it on their TGE, which is coming up here later in Q1, we've got a $25,000 airdrop going on in the mini app right now. There's 26 days, 15 hours and 45 minutes left for you to get in on that airdrop. So don't miss out on that. Get in there now. Of course, a big shout out to Bybit, our main channel sponsor. It's up to $30,000 bonus when you sign up using our link, which is in the bio of our Telegram there, or excuse me, our Twitter.
Yep.
Awesome.
And I guess the last thing that we didn't really touch base on, it kind of goes with the SEC thing. For 18 months now, I've been telling you, take Ethereum, bridge the Pulse chain, and buy 4 assets: PTGC, UFO, Alien, and Enki. We've done some interviews and some spaces with Enki. PTGC is up like, I don't know, 120x since then and continues to keep humming. UFO is up something like 60x. Alien up 8x. Enki up 6x. Those are still kind of the ecosystem that I would be getting involved with. Like I want to get leverage positions of the Pulse Chain blue chips, and that comes in the form of the token economics of PTGC, UFO, Alien, and Enki. And we can talk about that more in detail in different videos. I'm not going to get you down the rabbit hole. But first thing I would say is take some Ethereum, bridge to Pulse Chain with their first official bridge, and buy some PTGC and PLS. Keep it simple. And then next video, I'll convince you to get UFO. Next video, I'll convince you to get Alien, and we'll get down the rabbit hole because they just continue to win. Even in the sell-off, Pulse Chain was not immune to it. PTGC went down 30%, just like all the other altcoins. And what happened? It bounced and almost went to all-time highs within a 24-hour period while producing passive income. There's something going on there with the mechanics that keeps sending it up and to the right while the blue chips on that network still are floundering and doing nothing as the SEC continues to probe into Pulse Chain and Richard Hart. So what happens if I am right and the Sunshine Act means that Richard Schuler and Pulse Chain win? Well, the blue chips probably do a 2x, a 3x, and a 5x. And based on history, that means PTGC will do a 10x or a 16x because it's been trading on a minimum of a 4-to-1 ratio to Pulse Chain. So that's the alpha. We've been saying it for 18 months. If you listened, you were in a risk-free 120x plus passive income over 18-month period when a lot of people are getting chopped up and leverage trading their way to zero. So
if you go back in, if you go onto the Crypto Paradise account, you can search in here for our midweek market update. I think, what was it, just maybe right before Christmas, you and I were on here talking about Anki, and we did a lot more of a deeper dive into the Pulse Chain. If you want to go back and check out that episode, there's a lot more information on Pulse Chain and the different different products in there that that Nick's talking about. So definitely go check that out. As well here, just a quick reminder, in about 8 minutes, actually, we got to wrap this up because we're going to be doing the Telegram mini app Q&A space. We've got an AMA. We got a lot of questions in our Telegram group about different aspects of the Telegram mini app. How does it work? What can you win? How do you win? Who qualifies? Who doesn't qualify? So on and so forth. So we're going to be doing an AMA. I'll be leading that here. We'll be answering all of the community's questions about how to utilize the app, how to get the most out of it. We've given away on average $1,000 in tokens a week. We just started doing airdrops. We've got our first airdrop, as I mentioned, $25,000 worth of Tortoise tokens up for grabs. We're about to be adding in, let's see, 1, 2, potentially 3 more airdrops here in the next month and a half, 2 months. And we're bringing in new great projects we work with all the time. We do weekly giveaways in there for smaller amounts. And we have the Crypto Paradise bags, the grand prize, which is somewhere around, I think, 40K right now. It's a giant bag full of tokens from a number of different projects. Most of them haven't even launched yet. When those do launch, who knows how high they'll go, but when that bag gets somewhere over 100K, we're going to be giving that away to one lucky Crypto Paradise family member. So make sure if you haven't downloaded the app yet, go check it out. Link is all over our Twitter and Telegram pages or profile. You can find them in there. And with that, I think we'll probably wrap it up here. We'll be right back with you guys in about 6 minutes for this space. So if you're watching here, we'll tune back in, jump on the Crypto Paradise X page. In 6 minutes, we're kicking off the Telegram mini app Q&A AMA space. So we'll see you guys there.
Peace out.